Tarantino has found his Bruce Lee. Laura Dern joins the Little Women. And Elizabeth Banks finds her prince. This and more next on Movie Emporium's News of the Day. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Movie Emporium's News of the Day for August 15, 2018. We thank you so much for joining us today. We break down stories one by one from the world of movies, tell you about it, see what you think. As always, if you like what you see, remember, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Audio Boom. Subscribe to all these channels. You know, we'd love to see you. But as always, let's go ahead and get in the first news story, which is Greta Gerwig. If you don't know who she is, she recently directed the Oscar-nominated, Oscar-winning Lady Bird. It's a story about a girl who's coming up in Sacramento, California. She kind of feels like she's an outcast, but she has a mom who's overbearing but loves her. It's a great movie, one of my favorites of last year. Apparently she's been in talks, or she's now hired to direct Little Women, an adaptation about 4 girls in the Civil War era that grow up with first loves during Christmas. It's a very popular novel. So news has come out that Laura Dern, who, as we know, is famous for being in a bunch of David Lynch films, she was in Last Jedi, she is joining the cast, which includes Timothée Chalamet, Saoirse Ronan, Emma Stone, and James Norton. So it's a great cast, and Greta Gerwig is a great director/actress. So I'm really looking forward to this. I don't really know much about The Little Women. I know it's a very popular novel, but I've heard some good things about the Winona Ryder one that came out back about 20 years ago. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting to see what Greta Gerwig's going to do with it. She's very, very talented, very up and coming. She's been in a lot of, she's done a lot of acting and so forth. But with this, like I said, it probably won't come out till next year. But I'm really enjoying what I've seen so far. I really enjoy what Timothée Chalamet is doing. He's a great actor. But Laura Dern's, in a class of her own. She was in Jurassic Park. So let's look forward to that. So with our next news story, Elizabeth Banks, who you might know from 40-Year-Old Virgin, Hunger Games, so on and so forth. She has joined the cast and will also produce a movie about somebody, a housekeeper, who meets Prince. Now you think, is it a prince like a prince of a country? No, the Prince, the musician. Prince in general is a very fascinating person. He's very out there. His music was revolutionary. You could almost put him up with the Elton Johns or Paul McCartney's or any of these musicians, David Bowie's. So he's a great musician. 1999, Little Red Corvette, When the Doves Cry. So it's interesting that we'll see what Elizabeth Banks is going to do with this movie. Like I said, she's not directing, but she is producing. The fact that she's going to meet Prince is an interesting take on the whole story. Apparently it's a true story. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this movie. Not much is really known outside of what's in the article about her in the movie. But I'm interested to see who's actually going to play Prince. So see if they can do the mannerisms. Yeah, we're not going to get Dave Chappelle, so that's out the window. But I'm really looking forward to this. As I always say, we'll have to wait and see. It should come out either this year or next year. So, but with that, we'll go ahead and move on to our next story. Mike Moe, who has been known for paying tribute to Bruce Lee. He does a little bit of Bruce Lee mannerisms. He acts like Bruce Lee. He has been cast in a Tarantino movie. As a matter of fact, he's been cast in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Tarantino film, which is a story about Hollywood during the Sharon Tate murders with Charlie Manson. Okay, so he's a guy who's imitated Bruce Lee. Now he's getting the chance to play Bruce Lee in the new Tarantino movie. I'm telling you what, guys, I don't know who, I've never seen this guy before, I've never heard of him, but this cast, and if you look at pictures of him, and I'll post, the photo, of course, I always post the website that I got the information from. This is a great cast. This is probably one of Tarantino's best casts. I mean, like I said before, you have Leo DiCaprio, you have Brad Pitt, you just have all this amazing talent that's going into this movie, and now you have this guy who's really an unknown playing Bruce Lee, and I can't wait for this movie. I mean, I keep saying I can't wait for this movie, but I mean, Tarantino is doing Tarantino, and this movie looks amazing. These people they're casting, they got Margot Robbie playing Sharon Tate. I don't know if they're having anybody play Charlie Manson, but what he's doing with this cast in this movie, I think could be one of his best. I mean, he's got the talent ahead of him, so we'll see, guys. Like I said, it looks interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So, but with that, that's pretty much it on that story. Good luck to him. Well, wishes well and whatnot. So our next news story is Jesse Plemons. You might know him from Breaking Bad. You might know him from Game Night. He was in that really good Star Trek spoof on Black Mirror. He's one of the best actors. He's known as like the offshoot of Matt Damon because he kind of looks like him. But he's a fantastic actor. He's done a lot of stuff. He was amazing in Game Night. He was amazing in Black Mirror. He's been cast in this new Scott Cooper film, which Scott Cooper has done stuff like Black Mass and Hostiles. Very interesting director. Not always the greatest when it comes to his movies. I mean, they can be a little tedium, but he's directing a horror film which is called Antlers, and the synopsis of it is: Antlers follows a teacher, which is going to be played by Kerry Russell, who takes an interest in a mysterious and withdrawn student. As they become closer, she discovers that the boy is harboring a secret that could have deadly consequences. Interesting. I could see that. Is the deadly consequences Jesse Plemons' character? Possibly. Kerry Russell's in this movie, so, I mean, this is an interesting premise just in the fact that it doesn't give a lot away, so there's a lot to develop here. But have Jesse Plemons, have Kerry Russell in a horror film, that's going to be kind of like, this kid has dark secrets, but he's afraid to talk about them. And if he does, something bad could happen. It's interesting to see what Jesse Plemons will do with whatever character he's playing. He's known for playing creepy a lot of times, but he could also play dark. He can play funny, creepy. So I'm assuming they're going to go creepy route. I hope they do something different because Jesse Plemons, he's going to get stereotyped and typecast. But with everything I see here, I think it could be something cool, something special. I don't really know. There's not much to go on, but Jesse Plemons doing these types of movies just proves that Jesse Plemons is a great actor and a great talent, and I 100% look forward to whatever he does. Game Night just proved how good he really is. So that's pretty much it on that story. Like I said, we'll see what happens, but with our next news story. So there's a new movie coming out called Crazy Rich Asians, which is apparently really good. I will do a review sometime this weekend for it because I think I'm gonna go see it Friday. It's a story about Asians who are, like it says in the title, they're really rich, but they're eccentric, and it kind of gives a backdrop to their society, their culture. It's a movie that a lot of people are looking forward to because the book was really well done. And it has a great cast that's involved, and apparently it's going to do very well from what I heard on a podcast, because I keep talking about podcasts, but I do listen to a lot of podcasts. John Chu was offered by Netflix to make a lot of money, but he turned it down to make this movie into a theatrical release. Well, one of the actors, who goes by the name of Remi Hii, was just cast to be in Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I don't know too much about the actor, I apologize, but the fact that, once again, Marvel is taking the steps to diverse its cast. All the characters that you had in the original Spider-Man Homecoming movie, they were extremely diverse, from being white, Asian, black, I think one was Indian. It's just nice to see that Marvel is actually doing something that Lucasfilm struggles at, which is hiring diverse cast. So it's really cool that they took an actor who's getting ready to be in a movie that's going to be extremely popular and just kind of give it a new flavor. Now you have an Asian actor in the movie, and it's going to be cool to see what he does. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this movie. It doesn't come out till next year. It's kind of hard to think about Infinity War now because they're doing Spider-Man Far From Home. We'll see how Avengers 4 plays out, but good luck to him. good luck to see what he does. Like I said, his casting's not known, so that's pretty much it on that story. Just wanted to share that to you because it is a Spider-Man movie and everybody loves Spider-Man. So, but our last news story is there's been a new photo released from John Wick 3, which shows Ian McShane's character Winston, who is the head of the hotel where all the assassins and so forth go to hide. It's called the Continental, I believe. And then there's also Lawrence Fishburne, who plays the Bowery King. You remember in the second movie where Keanu Reeves' character is injured and Lawrence Fishburne saves him, and then the whole end of the movie plays out with Keanu Reeves going after the main villain of the movie. Well, there's a cool set photo of the two, of Lawrence Fishburne and Ian McShane's character. They're just there. I thought it'd be kind of cool to show you. You know, photos like these are always cool because it's characters that are really well known in the series, but it's cool actors together in a scene that, because they weren't in any particular scene in the original two movies. So it was, it's really nothing, but it's cool. So, but with that, that's all the news stories. Once again, like last week, I talked about cinematographers. Today, with our history lesson for movies, I know history lesson sounds boring, but like I said, I find these things interesting. I wanted to talk to you guys about casting directors. So casting directors are a form of entertainment industry where somebody finds actors. Okay, so they read the script. Let's go that route. And they talk to the director or the writers, and they figure out who they want to play these roles, what the characters need to be, how old they need to be, what nationality they need to be. Are their main actors like Leo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt, the big actors? Do they have the money for these actors? So what they do is called a casting call, where unless you're a big name actor, your agent sends you a script, you read the script, and you go in and you audition. A lot of actors, even if they're big and small, a lot of times they'll go in and do this. And what the casting director's job is to film the actor or audition the actor, find out if they fit the part. 99 out of 100 times, maybe even 99.9999 times out of 100, the person just doesn't fit the part, doesn't fit what they like. So what the casting director does is they take notes or they take videos and they send it to the director. The director goes, "Oh, I don't like that. It doesn't fit." It's the same way. It's the same thing with the writers, the producers. They're trying to fit that perfect role, and it's like how Tom Holland is. Any of these characters, Tom Cruise was the same way. When they're starting out, they have to audition for roles. And Tom Cruise now, he can do whatever he wants, and Tom Holland, for the most part, can do whatever he wants because they've been in big movies. So, in the sense that the casting director is like the first step after the writing and after the producing has gotten, or the producers have gotten the money sent down, they're the next step of getting the actors and actresses in place, getting the agents their contracts, and getting everything ready to go for the shoot. Well, what makes the casting director special is they can find extremely talented people that you have never heard of before. I mean, people like Jennifer Lawrence with Winter's Bone, people like Harrison Ford, who was a carpenter before he made Star Wars. The casting director in that film filmed Harrison Ford, told George Lucas about it. George Lucas watches the film and goes, "That's my Han Solo." I mean, it's a little more in depth, but I kind of want to make this a little more layman, just for easy for the everybody out there. But the casting director is special because it's almost like a important cog in a wheel. The cinematographer takes the pictures. The casting director gets you that talent that you need to get those pictures. So I really enjoy what the casting director does. Like I said, you can watch a movie like La La Land, or you can watch a movie or a TV show like Barry, and you can see the casting director, their inner workings and how they work. They're not always the nicest of people, but they have so much stress underneath them that they have to get thousands of people. I mean, they're seeing thousands of people for one single part, and they have to convey to the director, who could be any director. You know, some of the famous people like Carrie Barden, who saw, for instance, Leonardo DiCaprio for American Psycho. He came in, read for the part, who eventually went to Christian Bale. But it's stuff like that who these people are, they can find talent from all over the place. Somebody could be flipping hamburgers, go in and read for a part, and they're the next mega A-star making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And that's what the casting director does. It gets you that talent to fulfill that role. And it's a really special part, but I want to go through some other names of people like we did with the cinematographers. So we also got people like Victoria Barrows and Scott Boland, who have been known for casting with Zemeckis, with Spielberg for Tintin. We got Ellen Chenoweth, who is from the 70s but worked with Clint Eastwood and Barry Levinson and the Coen brothers. We have Randy Hiller, who's done a bunch of Marvel movies for like Iron Man and Thor. We also got people like John Papasadera, who did stuff, you know, with Independence Day, The Dark Knight, Memento Prime. You know, so smaller films to bigger films. Like I said, they probably found Guy Pearce or, you know, Will Smith, and so on and so forth. And then just kind of, there's a bunch of other people, but one more person I wanted to mention was Juliet Taylor, who she cast some pretty big 70s films. She did stuff like Taxi Driver, Network. She did Schindler's List, which is one of, you know, my favorite movie of all time. So you can see that these casting directors have worked on as big of movies as you can think of, because they need these people to find this talent. Because, you know, Spielberg is too busy. He's too busy taking care of everything behind the scenes. He has so many projects. Christopher Nolan has so many projects. Robert Zemeckis, and so on and so forth. These guys don't have time. They a lot of times they know who they want to work with. But when you're up and coming director and you need help finding that specific person, they're the ones to be able to do it for you. So the casting director, in essence, is one of the most important people in the filmmaking industry just for that reason. Because, like I said earlier, you can't have a picture unless you don't have your cast. And unless you're Tom Cruise or Leo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt or Jennifer Lawrence, you're going to audition for your role. And that's just how it works. And then you do it, through, like I said, through the casting director. So that's pretty much it with the history lesson of casting directors. It's really, like I said, it's a really interesting field to get into. It's one of the most thankless jobs a lot of time, but the experience that they get, the stories that they probably can tell you, it's probably, you know, one of the best things to have as a career. So, but with that, we'll go ahead and let you guys go. As always, if you like what you see, remember to rate, subscribe, comment on YouTube, tell us what you think, Audio Boom, Facebook, Twitter. Like I said, as long as you guys watch, as long as you guys subscribe, we'll continue to make content. You know, like I said, I enjoy doing this. So, but with that, thank you so much for joining us for Movie Emporiums News of the Day, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.